Good morning, everybody. This is Martin John, and you are here with me for Tao of the Day. Tao of the Day is my sort of offering as I read you parts of the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written about 600 BCE. This is the same time, right around the time that they think that the Old Testament was being written. And it consists of 81 chapters. So I ask that you come up, pick a number between 1 and 81, and we will go through your Tao for the day. Um, this is the Tao of the Day. I translate to the canon of reason. This is all about how quote unquote live a reasonable life. I don't even know it's about how to live a reasonable life, but that's kind of how I translate it. That's how I understand it. It's all about you living in a reasonable way. You living in a way that is whole and full and connected. And really, it's about not thinking. And really, I mean, even this goes against everything that the Tao is to talk about the Tao, right? Like talking about the Tao is a silly activity because if we're talking about the Tao, we're missing some of the point. But here I am doing that. And that's because it's just what I'm called to do at the time. So, and that's okay. Like we're all going to miss the point. We're all going to miss the mark. And doing that is part of our process. It's part of our dharma. And when we can really embrace that we are here now doing this thing now, whatever this is, we don't have to question, oh, is this right? Is this wrong? Is this good? Is this bad? Being here in this moment is where we are. And if this is where we are and this is what I'm doing, then this is where we are and this is what I'm doing. It's no big deal. And we're just going to continue doing it. We're going to continue embracing it. We're going to continue loving it no matter what it is. I really appreciate you joining me. If you have a number between 1 and 81 that you as burning within you, I would love to have you up, and you can give me a number, and we'll go over your Tao for the day. I often use different translations, so the Tao has been translated by many people. If you are interested in knowing more about the Tao or being able to read the Tao or being able to understand the translations of the Tao, or if you're interested in getting a different translation of the Tao, if you are already familiar with it, you would just shoot me a DM over in Instagram, and I'll give you links to of um, hundreds of different translations of the Tao, so that you can do Tao of the day for yourself. The Tao is such a beautiful text and it's simple. It's really about not thinking and not getting overly emotionally invested in the world around you, and making sure that even if those around you are lost, that you don't get lost along with it. We often in our society look towards instant gratification. Well, the Tao is not instant gratification. Your life is not. And if it is filled with instant gratification, and social media often gives us instant gratification, especially audio, not especially audio, I mean audio does also. And that's why I like wisdom so much, because it can promote connection between you and myself, one-on-one. If you step up, you and I can have a conversation, and that's the most important thing right now, right? To be able to have conversation, to be able to connect, and to be able to understand different things from different perspectives. And the Tao Te Ching is a place where we can do that. We can interpret things our own way. We can look at things however we want to look at them, and we can surmise certain concepts. Pardon me, just taking a sip of my morning booch. So I often and if you're new to the Tao, I would suggest checking out the Stephen Mitchell translation. He wrote that in the late 80s, and it is known as one of the most accessible and most quintessential translations of the Tao Te Ching. It's simple, and I am going to start today. Since nobody wants to jump up at the moment, I'm going to start and just read chapter 1. just read um, the first entry of the Tao, because this is at the core. So, especially if you're new to the Tao, this is at the core of what the Tao is. This is a really important part, right? It's unlike most other texts, especially ancient texts. The Tao starts by stating the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The unnamable is the eternally real. Naming is the origin of all particular things. Free from desire, you realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you see only the manifestation. Yet, mystery and manifestation arise from the same source. This source is called darkness. Darkness within darkness, the gateway to all understanding. So, what the Tao states here in this first chapter, in this first verse, in this first entry of what the Tao is that you can't talk about it. If you are talking about it, it is not the Tao. And so, what what am I doing here, talking about the Tao, when the first chapter of the Tao is the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. Well, here, as we communicate, so much of what we communicate is about what we're pointing to, right? I'm pointing to the Tao. I'm not trying to talk about the Tao. I'm trying to point to it. Because no matter what I say, it's never going to be the Tao. Anything that I talk about is only going to point to the Tao. It's only going to point to the truth. It's only going to point to the name, even. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. That means, like, if I call you, like I saw Kelly, right? Kelly was here. So if Kelly's here and I call Kelly Kelly, well, that's great. I can call Kelly Kelly and I can say, this is Kelly, and I can introduce you to Kelly, and you can hang out with Kelly, and you can do all these things with Kelly. But you will never know Kelly. You can only point to Kelly. You can only point to what she does and who she is. And here comes Graciela. Same thing. Same thing with Graciela. I can't know Graciela, but I can point to her. And here we do it. How you doing, Graciela?
Good morning.
Good morning. It has been a while. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so
That's
happy to
wonderful.
find you. Lately, Elijah has been going to bed a bit later and just I've been taking that cue to sleep a little later, except today he woke up early. So I'm glad to not have missed the Tao of the day. I think I miss it every day.
Yeah,
Not
I
because
like
not
I
because
said.
I'm sleeping when you come on, but just because I'm with
Right.
him.
Yeah, no, understood. It's wonderful to see you. I know I've seen you on Instagram, and I just keep every time I see you, I'm just like, oh, I haven't spoken to you in a while. Maybe I'll just send you a text sometime soon. I was like,
Yes.
like usually if it gets to a point where it's like, oh, we haven't talked like in a week or whatever, like I usually find a draw to like reach out to my people. So
Well, I have to say, I'm very grateful that you check out my stories and that you react to them on Instagram with like a little 100 or a clap or something. That means a lot because the stories just go unnoticed sometimes.
Oh, yeah, you see, like sometimes I go through a story, it's like seen by 36, but nobody said nothing. It's just like, oh, which is why,
Oh,
which is why I really like when I go through a story, it's like, like, of course, I'm not going to respond to everyone, but I do,
mm,
I respond to those that I respond to.
yes,
And
yes,
that's,
you.
and I encourage support. So anybody that's out there on Instagram, just support your people.
Yes, it's been wonderful. I've actually taken it very slow this week, let me tell you. I feel like I I finished some big projects like the book from the book club. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
we finished it. Yay. And so I'm kind of in recovery mode and I like that. I just take it in stride slowly and plan, what's next and whatever. So let's see what Dow has for me. Let me think. Let me think. Let's do I already did my age, so I can't do that. Dang it. Um, let's do 42. Did we ever do 42?
Oh, I don't know. I don't keep track. This is like, it
Let's
just
do 43. 43. Sorry about that.
43. That's okay.
Yes.
We're gonna do 43. I gotta change my note really
We've
quick.
done we've done my age, so now we're gonna do my husband's age. Let's see what
Okay.
happens.
Okay, so your husband's age, and we are utilizing an older translation. We're going with Isabel Mears, which I think
Yeah, I
we have
like
talked
Isabel.
about Isabel.
Yeah.
So
Girl
in the
power.
world, in in the world, when we arrive at gentleness, we press
Mm,
forward to overcome hardness. To possess inner life, we enter it by our own private doorway. We do this in order to know in overflowing fullness the possession of activity of inner life. Overflowing fullness of activity of inner life with power to impart it to others without words. Few men
mm,
in the world attain this.
mhm. Is that it?
That's it.
Wow. I mean, I don't know. It may be. It is. It's always synchronized, right? Because that's the beauty of life. If you
Yeah.
don't see it, you're just too busy. But the synchronicity is always there. And we've been talking. I have teenagers, so we've been
Mhm.
talking about the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, and all of that gossipy type of conversations that are now happening because there's been a verdict. And I remember saying, in the end, you really don't know because you don't know what goes on behind closed doors, right? Like, this is a common phrase. I feel like I've heard it a lot. And so this particular one reminded me of that. There was something that it said about our own private something, something, something.
Our own
Do you want to
private
break it
story.
down?
Yeah. This one, Isabel Mears is always just a little more complex. Like, it's a
Of
little more
course.
poetic.
Of course.
It's older, and so we have to, and like I'm looking at it, and I'm just before we go through it, I took the note of overflowing fullness. This is a phrase that comes up a couple times in this, and overflowing fullness is, oh,
He's with me. Like, he wanted me to lift him, but I'm okay. I'm getting.
Elijah, so beautiful.
Yeah,
Okay.
I cut his hair last night, and my husband is not happy, but he looks cute.
Oh well. Yeah, well, Yeah.
Like, he's
It's
only 3. It's not that big of a
yeah.
deal.
It's like he's got a lot of hair to grow. That's all right. He's
Yes,
got
exactly.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
In the world, when we arrive at gentleness, we press forward to overcome hardness. So this is the gentle overcomes the hard, right?
Right.
Like when we arrive at gentleness, we press forward to overcome the hardness, right? And so when we
Mm,
can yield that which is difficult, we can overcome. It doesn't become easy, but we can overcome it through gentleness. To possess inner life, we enter it by our own private doorway.
yes.
To possess inner life, we enter it. So here we have a inner life reference, and this is going to get referenced again. Inner life is that, we can call it spiritual life, or we can call it like to know
Hmm,
oneself,
hmm.
or other things like
Right.
this.
Or
So
I
to
can call it so
possess.
many things. I can call it my church. I can call it my
Mhm.
family. Like, whatever it is, it's in the end, it's transcendentalism. It's telling you to look within.
Right.
Within.
And
Yes.
we each enter it through our own private doorway, which
That's
means that
right.
your doorway and my doorway are not going to be the same.
Oh, well, in this case, mine and my husband's. We're taking it back to him because
Hmm.
that's why I chose it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so funny because he's not highly sensitive. So when I come to him about my sensibilities, he couldn't be far less from relating. He's like,
Right.
pat, pat in the back. Are you okay? What do you need, honey? Okay. But he cannot relate to the way my body is experiencing like the verdict. Oh my gosh, I got online right on time for the reading of that verdict, and I felt it in my body, and it was stressful yet exhilarating at the same time, and he couldn't relate. Isn't that so fascinating?
Yeah, I don't even know what the verdict was. We
Oh, well,
do
Johnny
this.
Depp won. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what he won, but
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
did he win? Did he won the argument against his against this person?
That's right. She's the liar.
She's the liar. This is okay.
Yeah.
By law. That's beautiful. That's good to know. Who so to possess inner life, we enter it by our own private doorway. So no matter like right, and so like between you and your husband and everybody, like everybody's gonna enter that inner life through their own private door. We do
Everybody's
this
responsible for their own inner light
that and finding it and entering that doorway
and
because
keeping the key safe. Mhm.
yes, right, look at this, we do this in order to know the overflowing fullness. We do this in order to know in overflowing fullness the possession of activity of inner life. What do you how do you see that?
Say it again.
We enter our own private doorway in order to know in overflowing fullness the possession of activity of inner life.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it just you break it word for word, and it takes me to this meditation I do with my group, and it's like the garden and what's in it and who's keeping it, it's the most majestic thing because in your sacred inner garden there can be waterfalls and freaking dragons and floating planets. Like, what do you want in there, right? And so what you just described, it just took me back there because that's how it is. Like, you can really, really just open yourself up to experience it all and recognize it and take it all in, just, little by little and so on and so forth. But like, oh my gosh, like there's like 40 or 50 dragonflies just flying outside my window right now.
Oh,
Yeah. I swear. There's so many, and there's caterpillars everywhere. And it's just so beautiful that I get to have a garden in real life just like this. And I mean, it's not perfect. We have so many plans and hopes for this land that we have, which is not big either. We talk a lot about the surrounding lands because they're being sold like as we speak, and we talk a lot about, like we should look into how much is that, like,
no.
and just expand and get some goats. That would be amazing. But
Oh, that's
anyway,
so nice.
yes.
See,
Thank you so much, Martin. Yeah.
absolutely. Do you have to go?
Oh no, I'm listening.
Okay, so
Oh, but
we're not
also,
done quite yet, but
I know. Would it be too much to ask? I know you're gonna do it, but
no, no.
would it be too much to ask for you to send me both of those translations? Oh my gosh, I'm the worst.
No, I can. Yeah, that's easy too.
Thank you.
It's no
Thank
big
you
deal.
so much. And it doesn't
Both
have to be like
meaning
right away.
like
Uh-huh.
the Stephen Mitchell
Isabel
and this one.
first.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, because
Absolutely.
we read that first and it's so
Yeah, yeah.
beautiful. I'm sure I can find them though, right? But you
As
have them.
I can
Yeah.
send you links to get
Thank you.
these, but I can send them to you via Instagram. That's easy. It's just copy and paste. It's no big deal.
Yes. Thank you
Um,
so much. So go on.
I look at this line. We do this by entering our inner life, by entering our spiritual life, by our own private doorway. So we do this to know the overflowing fullness, in
Hmm.
overflowing fullness, the possession of activity of inner life. And I wrote down to know the extent of having an active spiritual life, right? To know the full extent of having an active internal spiritual life.
Well, what
We
does that look
enter
like?
by our
So you
own
have, yeah, so you have the fullness of spiritual life, and then what does that look like?
right. So we enter through our own private doorway so that we can have the full extent of what it means to have inner an inner life. And this is like the overflowing fullness. To know in overflowing fullness, to know beyond just knowledge, to know within your body that
Well, it's just in,
overflowing
right? To
fullness.
know
Yeah,
inside,
to
to
know
know
in
within.
overflowing fullness,
Hmm. Hmm.
the possession of activity of inner life, to
Yeah,
know
yeah.
throughout everything what it means to really have like the possession of an active inner spiritual life,
Oh,
overflowing fullness of activity of inner life, like
Mhm.
overflowing fullness of activity, like being active in your spiritual life
Yep.
with power to impart it to others without words. This is like
So,
just
yeah, that's
being.
that. Yep. That's that transcendentalism leadership, like that essence of just your energy just transcending because it's that powerful and it is
Yes.
felt.
Right. It is felt
Yay.
without saying anything, without
Mhm.
doing anything. You can impart calm and love onto
Right.
another person simply by being it yourself.
But you have to make sure that your cup is filled. You have, like, that's the first part of the Tao of the day, of that number. You have to make sure that you are taking care and going within before you get to that level.
Right. In a world when we arrive at gentleness, we
That's
press
right.
forward, right?
That's
We
the key.
arrive at gentleness. And what is gentleness? Other, like, if it's not just like caring for oneself and being gentle to yourself, being gentle to those around you, allowing
Mm,
that to yield in your life.
that's right. Mm.
And then we enter that through gentleness, we can enter that inner life through our own private doorway.
Now,
And when go on.
for the sake of writing, see, I'm very happy that I finished the book club because now I get to just create some content with those interviews and take a break from creating brand new content because I need to focus in like on my book, like for real. And so for the sake of synonyms and book, what would you say is a good synonym from your lens because you're the one with the Tao for gentleness? Tell me a synonym.
Mm.
I might have to come back for you to land that one.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking,
And you have a
like
line.
gentleness. No, nobody's in line.
Okay.
Gentleness. That's interesting. Like as we look at it, because the gentlest thing overcomes the hardest thing, um, and I don't like. I would like. I want to point toward the word
Okay.
yield.
Okay. I got it. It says the gentle thing overcomes the hardest thing. Okay.
That's a
There you
different
go.
translation, but
So
yeah,
I got it
yeah.
because I'm gonna hang on.
Bringing Graciela back up to talk about gentle.
So the thing that over the hardest thing in my book essentially is waiting. We don't like to wait, and so that's the heart, that's the thing that we overcome in the book. And so by default then hope becomes the gentle one. So that's it, that's all I needed to
Mm.
know,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
I got it.
yeah. I've already sent you both of the translations.
Ah, you're amazing, you worked
Well,
so
I got.
hard.
That's not. Seriously. It's just copy paste. It's really not. But
Like, I
I'm
haven't
grateful.
even
I'm
started
grateful
my
that
work day and you're already on
this
it.
is what this is what the Tao says, right? Like this is not doing. So when you ask to do that, I go, yeah, it's nothing. It's literally nothing. It's
Right.
just happening through me.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Martin John. You're
Absolutely grateful
amazing.
to
And
have
I'm
you
so
come up.
happy. Yay, me too. And so I'll see you around,
I will be
tomorrow.
around.
What's today? Thursday? Tomorrow at 3, I host a Twitter space. So if you're
Oh,
available, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's been
oh,
fun to hang out over there with a lot of people. Oh, you said, oh, like 3
yeah.
p.m. doesn't work. But yeah,
I have a first Friday thing where I do portraits and other stuff like that. But
I know you're so busy. You're
yeah.
amazing.
Well,
Congratulations on that too. And and my interview with Poppy Jamie. Oh my gosh, don't miss it. It's in my profile.
okay, I will
She
check it
joined
out.
us, like the best-selling author of the book that we read. She joined us, and
Mm,
it was
beautiful.
so amazing. Yay. Love you,
Oh,
Martin John.
wonderful.
Have a great
Love
day.
you. Yeah. And
Bye. Yeah.
yep, yep. You have a good one. And so for everybody listening, check out Graciela. Definitely follow Graciela. She's offering so much wonderful things and on this app and out in the world. Twitter Spaces tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And if you are interested in what I am doing today at 8 p.m., I will be interviewed by Samantha Ryan, all about like 5 songs that I sent her that gonna tell the story of a certain part of my life. So I'm gonna go back to one. If nobody else wants to come up, the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. Um, just like I was saying, like the name that can be named, I can say Graciela, and you can understand Graciela as you can understand her in some box that you understand her to be. Someone on social audio, someone that's a coach, someone that's a guide, someone that's all of these things, right? Like you could look at her as all of these things, but that is still not who she is. That's not her eternal name. Her eternal name is much deeper than that. And yeah, it might be Graciela. That's fine. Like we can. But Graciela just points at who she is, right? It's just like the Tao that can be told. The Tao that we're talking about here is not the real Tao. Is not the actual Tao. It's not what we're looking for, right? We're actually looking to just point in the direction of the Tao. That's it. Right? And we don't want to get caught in this desire to continue to point either, right? Because as we get caught in that, if we get caught up in that, we continue to get away from what the Tao is and what the Tao actually is. And so this is why the Tao is such a wonderful it's such a wonderful text, because it starts by saying what you're going to read here is not what you're looking for. Marcy, how are you doing?
I didn't even realize I was on stage yet. Good morning.
Good morning. So good to see you. It's been a while since we've talked, and I'm hoping that you're well.
I'm fabulous. Always fabulous. You know that.
So
How are
I am
you?
so glad. I can hear you smiling.
Always, always smiling. At least I endeavor to smile all the time.
Smile all the time, smile all the time.
You're never fully
I
dressed without a smile. It's a song.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, you never
I
heard it?
Yeah. Um catch me up. What's going on?
Uh, I mean, same old. I
Same old.
just am still working on me and cutting off toxic people and traits and working on my own project of healing. And actually I revised a project that I used to work on with my clients years ago, so I'm in like the beta test right now. It's fun.
Right. That's yeah. It's always good to beta test new projects,
Oh
new
yeah.
new ways of approaching things. So let's dive in. Unless you
Yeah.
got a number for me.
uh how about 52?
52. In the beginning was the Tao. All things issue from it. All things return to it. To find the origin, trace back the manifestations. When you recognize the children and find the mother, you will be free of sorrow. If you close your mind to judgments and traffic with desires, your heart will be troubled. If you keep your mind from judging and aren't led by the senses, your heart will find peace. Seeing into darkness is clarity. Knowing how to yield is strength. Use your own light and return to the source of light. This is called practicing eternity.
Hmm.
Thoughts?
Oh, there's a wow.
Mm-hmm.
It felt good.
Yeah.
That felt so good.
I mean, it felt like it really resonated.
It did. It does.
Yeah.
It does. Sometimes I hear something from you, one of your DAOs, and I think of other people, and this time it was all for me.
Yeah.
Let's break it down.
Yep. So in the beginning was the Tao.
Mhm.
All things issue from it, all things return to it. That's the simple statement that's just
Mhm.
saying, hey, let's keep this in mind.
Yep.
To find the origin, meaning to find the Tao, trace back the manifestations.
Hmm.
When you recognize the children and find the mother, you will be free of sorrow. So, what do you think this is referencing, or how do you read this? How do you see this?
When you recognize the children and find the mother.
Hmm.
Huh.
So, I want to not forget the line before that, which is to find the origin, trace back the manifestations. So what are the manifestations that you are that what is a manifestation that you are experiencing? And maybe that manifestation is like you're a child, right? Right. In order to understand your child, you trace it back to the mother and you say, okay, well, now I understand this child a little bit better.
Right.
So sometimes when I remember, this is a story I tell a lot about, like when I first started to understand what it meant to recover to who I was, and that when that is at the core of everything that I talk about. When I used to drive around in my car back in like the 90s, and people would cut me off, I would get upset, shake my fist, and say that they're not paying attention. You're not paying attention, sons of bitches, not paying attention. Da da da. I was an angry youth.
Right.
And but if I were to trace back that manifestation, the manifestation being my experience of people not paying attention, I say, okay, well, what is the mother of the not paying attention story? Where does that arise in my life? And then I realized that, like, I used to get in trouble. I remember I don't really remember. I know a story that people tell about me walking into the living room with a glass of milk, and it was slightly off kilter. It wasn't square, right? It wasn't straight up and down, and my dad yelled at me because I wasn't paying attention, and so I started crying, and as I started crying, I just spilled the milk on the floor.
Oh wow.
like, like this was an experience that people tell me I have, right? And like so the but not only that, there were always these sorts of, you're not paying attention, Martin, right? Like, why aren't you paying attention? Why aren't you paying attention? So when I was able to recognize that the children, which was my anger at other people not paying attention, had a mother, which was my experience of
Right.
being in trouble for not paying attention. Once I was able to realize that those two were connected, and then I realized that I didn't have to get angry at other people for not paying attention, because the mother of that was me getting in trouble. And so actually, I was just afraid, and I had to double down on this paying attention thing. And I was able to free myself of having been cut off, because I haven't been cut off since, because I no longer had the argument, because I traced the argument, which was the manifestation, back to its mother. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And so that's how I see that. When you, to find the origin, trace back the manifestation. When you recognize the children and find the mother, you will be free of sorrow. If you close your mind in judgments and traffic with desires, your heart will be troubled. So if you close your mind off in judgments and desires for things to be different than they are, your heart will be troubled. If you keep your mind from judging and aren't led just by the senses, your heart will find peace.
It's um it's something I work on daily, Martin John.
Hmm.
I'm not ready to share what that memory is because it was very profound just now when I heard
Yeah.
the other
Hmm.
half. So
Yeah.
I will say that I still need a lot of work,
Hmm.
and I'm okay with that.
Yes.
Um,
Because it's never
because
gonna like I tell people all the time, like, no matter how much work you've done, the amount of work you have to do never changes. Like,
exactly.
so when you say you have a lot of work, of course you do. We always do, we always will.
Um, Yes, I do have a lot of friends who said, "Well, aren't you done healing?" No,
No.
I don't think we ever are.
No.
Even
You just
when
you just
there's
move to
something.
another level.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's right.
So I recognize the mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
This last section of this piece is seeing into darkness is clarity. Knowing how to yield is strength.
Okay. That was number 52, right?
That was number 52.
I have to remember this.
Hmm.
In 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 the this thing I'm developing with my group.
Hmm.
Um, we're doing a lot of shadow work,
Yeah.
and I still have a lot of people asking me, "What is shadow work?" And when you said seeing into darkness is clarity,
Hmm.
yeah, I've been trying to find the perfect words for that.
Yeah.
So, God, this was meant for me this morning, and I was gonna pick another number.
Yeah, well, that's how
Yeah.
it's
Hmm.
how it unfolds. I am going to copy and send this to you on
Thank
Instagram
you.
so you
I
have it.
appreciate you.
Absolutely. Um, yeah, knowing how to yield is strength.
Knowing how to yield to strength. Yep.
Yeah. Use your
Babe,
own light and return to the source of light.
you guys have no idea how important that is for all of us.
Hmm.
Was it you that I was speaking to when we talked about taking the pause?
Taking a pause. I
When,
don't think so. I,
when
I do
I don't
talk
think
about
so.
taking
Okay.
a pause. I do
When
talk about taking a pause. I don't know.
when
It might have been a couple weeks, last week.
I'm wondering if it was, but I've had the conversation several times since my first conversation on
Mm.
wisdom about this. When we're angry and we just pause, we take that step back and we say, "Wait,
Hmm.
that's it."
Yeah, that's the yielding, right?
Yeah.
That's what like yielding is. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Seeing into darkness, knowing. Yeah, knowing how to yield is strength. Just
Yes.
pause. Just like yield to the thing. Like the Tao is such a feminine um it's an understanding of God from the feminine aspect. It is from the yielding aspect, not from the demanding space. It is from the I will let you do whatever the fuck you want,
That's it.
and I will, and my work will still get done. Like I don't have to have you do my work. You do what you do, and I will shine through however like I need to because I'm yielding. And because I can yield to everything, my strength will overcome all things. Your power has no power here. Use your own light and return to the source of light. If we can use our own light, if we can like just shine without trying to shine and return to the source of that, then we'll be at peace, right? We'll be here. And that's called practicing eternity. It's not now. It's not this moment. It's not about time. It's not about stuff. It's about eternity. We are here free of sorrow because we recognize the children in the manifestation. So beautiful.
It really is. That's probably one of my favorite ones so far.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate you coming up and I'm glad that this resonated. Let it continue to resonate and
Yeah, and I needed it this morning, so I appreciate
yeah.
you.
And yeah, and I sent it over so you have
I
it.
saw. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Have a beautiful day. I'm gonna hop down and
Yeah,
let someone else come and benefit
absolutely.
from this. All right, Martin John. Love you. Have a
Love you.
wonderful week. Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Okay, everybody. Well, that was yeah. Graciela and Marcy. Like, what a team. What a great day. What a great, like got my East Coast folks coming on and sharing some Tao with me. I'm gonna move back to one because one is such a beautiful start to all of this. And I want to take all of this into consideration as well. Like, let's take into consideration what we were talking about. Tracing the manifestation, right? Trace to find the origin, trace back the manifestation. What are the manifestations that are happening in your life? And there's no way to talk about it. You just have to be it. You have to understand it. When you recognize the children, and I know I was able to express some story that connected the children to the mother, right? Like that which then turns into the manifestation of our life. I was able to talk about that with Mike having gotten cut off and my relationship with paying attention and all that kind of stuff. Sure, I was able to talk about that. I was able to tell that story. But that is it, but it's still deeper than that. And that's where we can, free from desire, you realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you only see the manifestations. So we talked about manifestation with Marcy. John Teabag is going to join us. And then we'll come back to one after that. John, how are you?
Good morning. I'm better than I was yesterday.
Yeah, that's the way to go. That's the way to go. How you been?
I get better every
That's
day.
good. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. So, welcome to Tao of the Day. I don't believe that we've
Yes,
spoken
yes.
before.
I believe in the Tao. The Tao. My favorite saying is "way, no way." Do you know what that means?
Hmm.
Tell me what you think it means.
um, so this is Tao of the Day, and I would love and that then the Tao has been translated to way, no way. As in, there is always space where there is no space, and you can enter where there
Yes,
is
I'm
no
like a
space.
cockroach. You can't kill me. I live
Yeah,
like
no one's
I'm a
no one's
I'm a
trying to.
I'm a.
So
To
that's
me, I'm a
wonderful.
cockroach. You can't get you can't get rid of me. Okay,
So
so I have a challenge for you.
I'm not here
Yeah,
for a
you have
challenge.
54
I'm here
people
to
in this
take a
room.
number. You can give me a number, and we can talk about the Tao.
Oh, just give you a number.
Yeah, so give me a number between 1 and
Okay, the
81,
number is the number. I'm gonna choose.
and then we'll read that chapter of the Tao. Nope. Okay, you stepped out. Cool. So I'm going to go back to 1. Free from desire, you realize the mystery. Oh, John's coming back. Let's see what John. See if John has a number for us.
I
John.
hit the button. Okay,
Oh, okay.
the button by accident.
I was like,
My number
maybe he
is
doesn't want to pick a number.
55.
What number?
Guess why my number is 55.
55. Okay, let's go to 55. Okay, 55
Guess why my
states.
number is 55 though? No, there's
It's the
55
number
people in
you
the
came up
room.
with.
Yeah,
All
no,
right.
there's
Well,
55
all right.
people in this
Sweet.
room.
Yeah. Um, he who is in harmony with the Tao is like a newborn child. Its bones are soft, its muscles are weak,
People want to hear this
but
though.
its grip is
People want
powerful.
to hear this though.
It doesn't know about the union of male and female, yet its penis can stand erect. So intense is its vital power. It can scream its head off all day, yet it never becomes hoarse. So complete is its harmony. The master's power is like this. He lets all things come and go effortlessly without desire.
John
He never
Martin,
expects
are you reading?
results. Yes, I'm
Oh.
reading. Thus, he is never disappointed. He is never disappointed. Thus, his spirit never grows old. So that is number 55 of the Tao.
Oh, thank you. John, how do you feel about being in here talking about 2 people, but the room says you have 57 people in here? How does that make you feel?
It doesn't say I have 57 people here. It doesn't say I have 58 people here. It
Oh, it
says
says you have
58
58.
people have come through the room.
Okay, how many people do you think are listening to you
So,
right now?
so, so, okay. Okay, 1 second. This is Tao of the Day, and this is a conversation between you and I, irregardless of how many people are in the room. Would you like to have that conversation?
We are having it already.
Oh, well, okay. So, 55. What are your thoughts about 55?
My thoughts are that I feel like I'm being deceived on this app. It's really crazy
No,
because
you're
I keep
having a
looking at the numbers.
conversation right now. Okay, so do you want to stay in the conversation or do you want to talk about something else?
You're bullying
No,
me.
I'm asking you if you would like
You're
to
a bully.
stay in the conversation about the Tao.
Has anybody ever told you you're a bully? Does it make you feel good to try to control people?
I'm asking you what you would like to do,
Can we be
my
free?
friend.
Don't let me
Yes,
anger
you
you,
can
my
be
friend.
free, but not on my room. In my room, you can have a
Nobody's in
conversation with
here.
me about the Tao.
Nobody's in here listening. It's just
That's
me and you.
fine.
It's just me and you. Nobody's in
You're
here. If
that's
somebody's in
that's
here,
that's
send him a like.
why I'm asking.
He who angers you controls you. You're letting me control you. I don't want control. Let go.
We're gonna bring Andy up. I know Andy can have a conversation.
Oh, we have somebody that doesn't know what the Dow Day Ching is. I haven't seen such a fine display of ego since probably yesterday when I was listening to the men's ESN talk on Clubhouse.
Oh my god. It's so
Jesus!
simple, right? Like it's
What
just
the
like,
hell?
would you
You're
like
having a
a conversation?
conversation about the Dow. Let me
Yeah,
just say words. You're
yeah,
having a conversation about the Dow. Let me say more words.
yeah.
God
Just
damn!
say more words. And yeah, so we are here, as you know, to talk about the Tao Te Ching. Do you have a number for me?
Sure. I would like
Oh,
I would like to do 55 since we never got an
50,
opportunity to
oh,
do
look at that.
55.
55. And 55 is such a nice one, too. He who is in harmony with the Tao is like a newborn child. Its bones are soft, its muscles are weak, but its grip is powerful. It doesn't know about the union of male and female, yet its penis can stand erect. So intense is its vital power. It can scream its head off all day, yet never become hoarse. So complete is its harmony. The master's power is like this. He lets all things come and go effortlessly without desire. He never expects results, thus, he is never disappointed. He is never disappointed, thus, his spirit never grows old. And I could say, just on first, like, did I expect results from being able to read 55 with this John character? Did I expect a result from that? Did I, and was I holding on to my own idea of what I wanted rather than kind of giving into it? Hard to say. I definitely didn't want to engage with that person, so I stepped away. I'm not super disappointed with that. I'm actually pretty cool with how I acted.
You know
So
what? Here's
that's
the thing
interesting.
though. We talk about this a lot, that this is the experience. So I like this line. I pulled it up in front of me too, just because I wanted to I'm
It's
I
good to
want
read and go along.
yeah,
Yeah.
like the master's power is like this. He lets all things come and go effortlessly without desire. And it goes back to the experience versus the experience. So the experience of Tao of the day is usually pretty much, like people come up and they pick a number and you talk about it and you go through it line by line, and sometimes just like the canceled flight, right? Like I talk about the canceled flight.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you think you're going somewhere and then your flight's canceled and you don't go there, you go somewhere else, and then you get the distinct pleasure of having a new experience given to you, and the master goes, wow, far out,
Far out.
far out.
Absolutely. I mean, maybe I could have. I could have like.
Nope.
Nope, I couldn't have. You're right. You're right. He who is in harmony with the Tao is like a newborn child. Its bones are soft and its muscles are weak, but its grip is powerful. How can we use that?
Because it's not, because you're not grasping,
That's right.
you're receiving.
I'm receiving. Oh yeah, that's good. Like I feel like I received that too. I feel like I received that whole experience, right? Like, and I feel like I feel like I received the experience and it was complete. I don't feel like it was an incomplete experience.
Hmm. It's complete along with us being, continuing. And now
Continuing,
this is
right?
a new experience, which will be
This is a
complete.
new experience, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it's experience that is now um, colored by that experience
Mm-hmm.
in a way, right? Like because all of that is still there. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
know the union of male and female, yet its penis can stand erect. So intense is its vital power. It can scream its head off all day, yet it never becomes hoarse. So complete is its harmony. So um, as I continue to process. I'm really glad that you came up so I can process all of these things.
Yeah, I love to I love to be here, hold the space and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The vital power, right? Like the vital power of, and I don't have to hold on to any of that. Like I can just hold it. Like that was that was complete. And I don't have to know the reason that any feelings come up. I don't have to know the reason that that experience was had. Just like the child can, although the penis can stand erect because its power is vital, it doesn't know the reason behind it. It doesn't ask itself questions about it. It just has this experience, and the body allows those experiences to be had because our power is so connected.
That's also really, I always had trouble. I've heard you read this one quite a few times with people.
Hmm.
And I didn't know it was 55, but like as you read this a few times, and I never put that together because I heard about the newborn baby. Like I never put that together about how the baby doesn't have attachment to the meaning of its
Right,
penis standing erect,
right,
but you would have attachment to that meaning. The same as like I would notice something's happening with my body, and through the idea of the stories I've created, I could attach meaning to that. Like about my body's doing this, that must mean, and
right.
that and that's like it's the attachment is my ego. That's all my ego, even if it's just like being analytical.
Yeah. I mean, I
I'm not.
remember the other day we talked and I was having a conversation and you were having a visceral reaction to the conversation I was having and didn't even know the conversation was happening. And it was like, oh, it's the connection that we have that made that possible. And if you were to ask why, you'd come up with reasons.
Right.
And
Right.
maybe even in hindsight, we came up with a reason, but really it's just your body responding to something.
Yeah. That is just, and that reminds me of the conversation that I had with my client Monday. And then when she texted me yesterday, you know this story, but anybody that's listening, I asked a client, she had a tear running down her face when we were talking. And I said, is that tear connected to anything or is it just energy moving? And this is something that I'm used to having conversations about, like when, you and I have these conversations. But that was so powerful for her because she realized I don't have to make a connection to this right now. I don't need to create a story about this right now. I can just notice energy is moving and a tear is going down my face.
Yeah.
And she was then able to, so much later, bring in and just connect. And sometimes, right in the immediacy, it just doesn't, it's not necessary. Like,
Yeah.
it's not necessary. We can just notice, let it go, come back, and not attach story. Empowering story, disempowering story, doesn't matter. It's all perfect.
Yeah. And so, yeah, so I want to read that one part just again, just so we can
Yeah,
like
yeah.
solidify this. It doesn't know the union of male and female, yet its penis can stand erect. So intense is its vital power. Like that's coming from within us,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we don't have to put meaning on it. We don't have to know why. And
Right.
that's such a great physical way of looking at, like, look, his penis is erect. He doesn't know what's going on, nor does he care. He's just like, wow, look at this thing. Like it can scream
Mm-hmm.
its head off all day, yet it never becomes hoarse. So complete is its harmony. Just be in that space of being harmonious, be in that space of allowing, be in that space of permitting it all to be as it is.
And there's so much growth happening with a newborn, so
Yeah.
much development that's happening outside of the womb, and so much,
So much
just,
influence that is trying to make its way in.
yeah, like so much. And I mean, you buy a newborn baby
You buy a
clothes, and
newborn baby. Just end it
you,
there. That's
no, clothing for a newborn
okay.
baby. Clothing, right? Like you buy newborn baby clothing, and it's almost like you're lighting your money on fire because you're going to throw those clothes away in, in like a month. The baby was
Yeah.
not going to fit in those clothes. because the baby is growing so rapidly, both in the brain and the body. And so of course the baby has to expel all of this energy, right? So it's screaming and it's screaming and it's screaming and it's screaming. It doesn't become hoarse, it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Like it cries constantly because it has to, as we grow and we feel that energy come up and out and release and release. The baby's doing it constantly. It's just a force. It
Yeah.
couldn't possibly conserve energy. It can't.
No. And it's constant. I always like to remind people that babies are constantly overwhelmed with everything they're bringing in right now. It's just like, oh my God, oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. like
Mm-hmm.
at every moment. Imagine if you had to live your life in a complete state of overwhelm all the time. Like when I travel to Europe or something, the first thing I want to do is, okay, I want half a day just to relax, right? Just to
Yeah.
just to be there. And I can do that. I can plan that in. A baby has no, like, they went to a completely different planet and now they're trying to assimilate. Now every time they wake up, there's something new.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah. And
that's just uncomfortable.
it's
And
like
yet,
every
go on.
no, I was going to say, I use the line baby cries. It's because it actually is the worst day of their life.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
it's the
right.
worst day
The
again.
worst day of their life. Like literally.
Literally. Literally.
The master's power is like this. He lets all things come and go effortlessly without desire. He never expects results. Thus, he is never disappointed. He is never disappointed. Thus, his spirit never grows old. And I really love that, especially as it relates to that John Teabag that was just on. As like, I don't, like, he lets all things come and go effortlessly. Like, I I didn't get involved. I feel like if I'm going to pat myself on the back here, I feel like I didn't get involved in the conversation he wanted to have. He came on my stage in which we have, conversations about things very specifically. I expressed what those were in an effortless way, and when I was done expressing, I stepped back and I allowed him to go away without desire. Without I don't have to make him like me, or I don't have to get him to understand me. He can believe I'm a bully, and I'm fine with that. I
For
don't
sure.
expect results. And I'm not disappointed with how that worked out, because I got to sit down and talk with 55 with you.
And we got to have this awesome conversation about all of it.
Yeah.
And there are lots of people in this room, and they are listening. And I know that I saw all of the applause going on. Like he's like, no one's in this room, and all the people are like, hello, I'm here. Hello, hello.
and
So
and
we got to have this, and we got to have it in a way that it was an exploration, because this is the experience, not the
that's right.
attachment to what we thought the experience would be, but this is it. This is
Right.
it. And that was it. And now this is it.
And to John Teabag, like, I don't care if nobody's listening, because I'm having a conversation with you, Andy. Right?
Mm.
I don't care if nobody's listening, because I'm about to have a conversation with Kelly. I don't care if nobody's listening, because I'm here having a conversation with you. And that's what means everything to me, because I'm here present in the moment with the people that I care about.
Mm. It's beautiful.
Thank you
Because
so much for this.
it was my pleasure. I'll drop down so Kelly can come up, but
Yeah, we'll bring Kelly up. But I really appreciate you helping me out with this 55. You came to my rescue. Thank you.
I love you. I'll talk to you later.
Love you. All right, we're gonna bring Kelly up, and we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk more Tao. Hey, Kelly.
Andy, when you buy a baby, I was like cracking up because you know what she meant, but
When
like
you buy a baby,
yeah, you
pause.
buy a baby.
Okay.
Uh, hey, you know what's great about Mr. Teabag is that I wasn't gonna come up until he made me mad. I was like, what's going on with this guy? Like, yes, we're all here, and then I'm glad I'm here. So thanks, Teabag.
Thanks, Teabag.
uh, Like
Oh,
he
well,
did that to somebody
it's
yesterday too. I think I heard him doing that to Mac or on here. He was just like, everyone in here is a bot, and he was really trying to fight him on it. And I'm like, so you know, he's
that's
making it
fine.
up.
Like I said, it doesn't matter if everybody in
Yeah,
here is a bot. I'm here talking with you. And
yeah.
if you weren't here, I'd be talking to myself. And if I got sick of talking with myself, I'd turn it off. It's all good. It's all good. I choose what I want. I'm not here trying to make make anything into anything else. We're just we show up and we do our dharma. And I'm here
It's
to
a
do
nice
that.
community though when you really feel like you don't have to get upset about it because, and not that anybody did, but that people want to be like, hey, back it up. Like it's nice when you don't have to be the one who says back it up because everyone else wants to say it. Just
Yeah,
you know,
it's an important thing. I'm glad I have the support of so many people. It means so much to me. Um, and I'm here, and I'm just here doing my thing.
yeah, being
Just
in the
trying
Dow.
just trying to be in the Dow. And
Yeah.
it's great to get pulled out of it because then I get to see me get pulled out of it. And I want to be nice, and I gave him all the opportunity. But if you don't want to take it, then you don't take it, and that's fine.
It was fun. It was fun.
It was fun. So
I,
do you want to I know you're here supporting me, and I know,
no, I'm
but
here.
I would
Two.
love to get a number.
Two.
Number two. Oh, beautiful. I was doing one, so we're going
Mm.
to take you to two. When people see some things as beautiful, other things become ugly. When people see some things as good, other things become bad. Being and non being create each other. Difficult and easy support each other. Long and short define each other. High and low depend upon each other. Before and after follow each other. Therefore, the master acts without doing anything and teaches without saying anything. Things arise and she lets them come. Things disappear and she lets them go. She has but doesn't possess, acts but doesn't expect. When her work is done, she forgets it. That is why it lasts forever.
Hmm. I really like that when her work is done, she forgets it. It's like giving and then going. Like it's never. I used to think when I was younger that like an ideal life would be, and maybe I lived it already, but just like Mary Poppinsing everything, like just floating from moment to moment and just doing a good deed and then going on, not telling your name or who you are, just doing it because it's good and going
Yeah.
forward.
Not taking, yes, you don't have to take credit for
Yeah.
everything, you
No.
know? And I think I was talking with Andy the other day about this idea that, like, even our conversation on the phone. So, Kelly, if you and I were sitting here talking about the Dow, just you and I in a room, and nobody was there and there was nothing being recorded, and we were talking about this, the insights that we would gain and the insights that we would have would be put into the ether.
Mm-hmm.
And we wouldn't need 73 people in a room to listen to it in
Mm-mm.
order for it to have any value. The value is in the conversation, in having the conversation. The value is in not it being recorded. It's
Mm-hmm.
not in it being heard. It's not in it being understood. It's not in it being spread. The value is that it's being had.
John Lacasse and I talk about this a lot with him because it's just I like thoughts. Thoughts are really like everything. Like
They're things.
yeah, it's the thing. It's the thing. It's
Right. But it is a thing.
yeah.
And that's when Dr. Rao talks about, like, get into the nothing, it is very much get away from the thoughts as well, because the thoughts are a manifestation of a thing. And 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 so when we talk about, like, that stuff, right, like, things arise and she lets them come, things disappear and she lets them go. Those are thoughts, those are things, those are relationships, those are all sorts of stuff. It's everything. And Tao is at the core of all of that. And it's bigger than any of it. And it is connecting everything.
There's more peace and harmony to be had when you release like attachment and expectation.
Yeah. To thoughts or to stuff or to everything.
Hmm.
And this, this verse starts
Even
when
to
people
doing
see.
so, by the way,
What's that?
even to releasing attachment to expectations or attachments is actually even in that act. You can have expectations on how that happens, and
Right.
trying too hard is actually swimming upstream.
That's right. Trying it all is swimming upstream.
Oh, the conundrum.
Right. And that's the and that's and this is why the Tao talks about the idea that, like, if you try to understand this, you'll always miss it and you'll never get it.
Hmm.
So it's like, it's really in this space of like, don't try to understand it. Let it go. Like, all, because there is no understanding it. And this is why, this verse starts with, when people see something as beautiful, other things become ugly, right? You create ugliness by understanding, by having a definition of what's beautiful. By trying to understand it at all, you create it. You create its opposite. If you want to try and understand holiness, you are just creating evil. When people see some things as good, other things become bad. And that's just the way it is. As
It becomes
soon as you do that, go on.
it comes kind of back around to that ether conversation and morphic resonance or collective consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
and just having the thought, like if you conceive of it, then it exists. So the
That's
more
right.
you focus on religion or like holiness or whatever it is, that the more that you'll conceive of the opposite of that. So the more you're bringing it into existence, the more you focus on it, the more collectively consciously it becomes. Yeah.
And then we go into this like set of 5 dualities.
Mm-hmm.
Being and non-being create each other. Right. And the interesting thing is what we were just talking about, right? Like, the being and non-being create each other. So as you notice you are being, you notice that you are, like, not non-being, which means that's what you strive for. And that's just the conversation of being. The conversation of being is to get to a place of non-being. And non-being happened well before us, and that created being, that created life, that created the universe. Non-being created being, and now as being we want to move into the state of more non-being.
Hmm.
Difficult and easy support each other. From one moment to the next, this is easy, this is hard, this is difficult, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and this is easy. And they support each other. In order to go through difficult times, you need easy times, right? You need the weekend. That's why
Mm.
you can work 5 days a week, so you can have the weekend, because the weekend's easy, and then I'm going to be difficult Monday through Friday.
Yes. It's all kind of the same for me, but um,
Yeah.
I would I like that you listed it because I'm listening to you reading it. But by the last one, I was like, oh yeah, like I started to get in the flow of it. It's almost like you needed to hear multiple ones in order to really like let it set in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long and short define each other. If you're like, okay, I'm gonna, like if short was, so I run, and I'm in a relationship with Andy, and Andy runs, but Andy runs like 7 miles a day. I'm
Jeez,
running.
Andy,
I ran. What's that?
that's a lot.
Yeah. That's her.
Yeah.
That's her like standard like practice, right? Like, that's just her daily thing. Like, on the weekends, she'll do like a 20-mile run.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, absolutely. Like so long and short define each other. What's a long run for me? 2 miles. Well, probably 5 miles, because I ran that race, right? So a long run for me is 5 miles. But she would define that as short. So long and short define each other. Like,
Hmm.
they, in order to understand one, you have to have a relationship with it. High and low depend upon each other. Before and after follow each other.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. There's before, after, and then after eventually becomes before, right? Like, like if you go after school, that's still before school the next day. At some point, the after school becomes before school, but it's still after school.
There's no ending, you know,
Right.
unless,
There's no
yeah,
end. It
there's
is
no
just a
end.
complete cycle.
Yeah.
Therefore, the master acts without doing anything and teaches without saying anything. Things arise and she lets them come. Things disappear and she lets them go. She has but doesn't possess, acts but doesn't expect. When her work is done, she forgets it. That's why it lasts forever. Let's just listen to those birds for a moment.
Yeah. I think for me, what I heard the biggest in this one, I'm going up a little hill, is joy, or love. And
Yeah.
like, that's really like, you can't try to be in the Tao and then be in the Tao. But if you
Right.
can be in the moment and experience and feel the joy, even in the sorrow, and just allow that to occur without so much resistance or controlling it or attempting to. That's just, that's your flow.
Yeah.
Even if you're trying to control it, just, I think, self-love,
Yeah.
finding joy in who you are.
In this moment. Because
Yeah,
right now you might be angry.
whatever you're doing in this moment.
Whatever you're doing in this moment. To find love and, you know, like in my experience with, you know, John Teabag. Right? To find that how I related to that was how I related to that. Now, do I have to do that again next time? Can I relate to it differently? Can I do something different next time? Possible. Would I want to, or do I have to, or whatever? No, not necessarily. But I do know that, like, if I look at, you know, if I were to ask myself that question that I ask everybody else to ask, do I like that I'm doing this? Do I like that I took him off the stage? Yes.
Me
Do
too.
I like that I gave him an opportunity to to be here with me and to have a conversation? Yes.
Me too.
Do I like that I was affected by it? No, I don't. But I do like the actions that I took. I do personally endorse all of the actions that I took.
That's what matters. That means you found joy in who you were and loved yourself in the moment.
Yeah,
That's really the most flow you can be, probably.
yeah. I think that's nice, and I really appreciate you coming up to support me and for letting Teabag know just that, you know, like
Oh, there's a
that.
coyote, a huge one right in front of me.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
I like seeing coyotes.
Big
They have that
coyote, like
really nice
right in front of me.
gait. They have that nice gait of just that
Yes,
bounce.
those long legs, right?
Yeah, the long legs and just that like bounce as they kind of go around, and they do it so quietly.
I've seen them
Coyotes.
literally walk straight up a wall. Just like walk up an 8 foot, 10 foot brick wall. It's weird. Right
It
in
is
front of my
the
face.
coyotes are magical, man.
I like them too. And when they get something, which I always feel bad for the thing they get.
Why don't you come back on and tell me why you feel bad about what they get? Because you just dropped out. But I would love to have you finish that because coyotes are pretty awesome. Um, and then after Kelly comes up and talks to us a little bit more about coyotes, we're gonna end it, and it'll be a beautiful day. Go on, Kelly. I cannot hear you. Did you mute?
Oh,
Yep.
here. Okay,
There you
good.
go.
Yeah. No. when they catch something, you know, when they have a kill, when they have food at night,
Yeah.
and they yip, and they just like there's like this hundreds of thousands of different sounding yips that occur. It feels like it just goes on for like 15 minutes or seems like, and then it's gone. Like little ones, big ones. But yet when you
Yeah.
see
No.
them, they're always just a singular coyote. Like during the day, I just see one. But at night,
Right.
when you hear that, it's like hundreds of yips.
I one time was walking through the woods out here, and there was a number. Like I didn't see them; they were all in the like brush and stuff. But there had to have been like 5 or 6 different coyotes just running around and like yipping and doing their thing. And I was on a trail very close to them, um, and it does make your heart race a little bit just to kind of be in that proximity of that. And it's something that just like with John Teabag, like when you feel that, you want to go in and you want to ask yourself, well, what made me respond to this, and then be able to be calm in the presence of anything. That's anti-fragile.
Yeah. Ultimately, he couldn't. There's nothing about him. I mean, there was no other way to respond to that. Like, from
No.
my imagination, he wanted to be mean, and everybody moved on and laughed at it. Like,
Yep. That's
yeah,
it. we all moved on as we needed to. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the experience, and I'm not going to hold on
yeah,
to it. We're going to leave it there. So I
it's funny.
appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thanks for being here. I'm gonna send you pictures of where I'm
Absolutely.
at because I think you'll like it.
Yeah, I would love to see them. Check them out. All right. Love you.
Have a good day. Love you too. Bye.
Okay. Well, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for joining me for Tao of the Day. And I am just so grateful for all of your support, your continued support, your love, and your appreciation for what I present here, Tao of the Day. I do want to finish off number one: free from desire, you realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you only see the manifestations. If I were to, look at what happened today with John T. Bag, like I could have been stuck in desire, only seeing the manifestation, but I do see the mystery in it. And so I'm really grateful for that. I see the mystery and the lessons that I get to learn from that. Yet mystery and manifestation arise from the same source. The source is called darkness. If I were to, play the victim, the experience could be the same, but the way in which I have the experience is different. Just like the scorpion when I was in the dark retreat, right? Like it's all about there's a difference between how I experience it and what the experience is. There's different ways of experiencing those things. Darkness, within darkness, the gateway to all understanding. It is just, this just is. This experience you're having just is, and it's dark. It doesn't have any, anything attached to it. The moment we put an attachment on it is the moment that we misunderstand. So let's go forth and understand. Let's look at everything as just being a dark space for us to explore. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. My name is Martin John. Check out my links. I got workshops coming up. I got a workshop happening on Tuesday. Join me for that if you're interested in recovering yourself and recovering all that you are. I, of course, I got 21 years clean and sober, and I am here to be present for and with you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your attention. I appreciate your love. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.